In 1955, a single sentence in a forgotten book pointed toward a remote Karakoram giant, climbable, but not easy. Months later, a small Austrian team would gamble everything on that promise, deep in ice, storms, and silence.
Hey, glad you're here. Welcome to the Himalayan Journals. Here on this channel, we bring to you real stories from century old field notes. We try to keep it simple and calm here. Think of it as a documented history of the Himalayas from the early 1900s, covering stories of indigenous wisdom, epic expeditions, and groundbreaking science passed on just as they were recorded. Subscribe, zone out, binge.
In the summer of 1955, while climbing in the ruined Zori, Fritz Moravec read Professor G. O. Dierenfurth's book, To the Third Pole. One sentence stayed with him. Gasherbrum II, though not easy, was probably climbable and relatively safe. From that moment, the idea of an Austrian expedition took shape. The Austrian Himalayan Foundation agreed to sponsor the plan, and with only 5 months to prepare, a small team was assembled and fully equipped through generous support from many firms. The expedition left Vienna on March 28, 1956, sailing to Pakistan aboard the MV Asia and reaching Karachi on April 11th. Their 4.5 tons of baggage were cleared quickly, and by April 15th, they were in Rawalpindi. A charter flight to Skardu was planned for April 17th, but clouds blocked the route day after day. Only on April 27th did the aircraft finally take off, carrying the climbers along with their liaison officer, Captain Qasim Ali Shah, and Captain Hayat Ali Shah. From the air they saw the Indus winding through the foothills, and beyond it, Nanga Parbat and Rakaposhi, standing clear in sunlight. At Skardu, the expedition selected its porters, far more than expected presenting themselves. Regulations governed every detail of porter work, pay, rations, insurance, and equipment, all of which had increased since the previous year. On May 3rd, the caravan began its march, crossing the Indus by ferry and moving through sand and storm toward the Shigar Valley. After 6 days, they reached Ascole, the last inhabited village, where supplies were gathered and the porter strength increased to 238 men. From Ascole, the route led onto the glaciers. They crossed the Biafo, camped at Corofon, and reached Paiju, the last source of wood before the Baltoro Glacier. Here, a crisis arose when the new boots brought for the porters proved too narrow. Every pair had to be slit open to fit. Marching onward, many porters suffered injuries from wearing boots for the first time and soon went barefoot again on the ice. At Urdokas, the last grassy campsite, the porters struck, demanding rest, bonuses, and allowances, not in the contract. With the agreement of the liaison officer, pay and food were withheld for a day. The strike ended, but 68 men were sent back, and loads were left behind. Progress to Concordia was slow through fresh snow and worsening weather. When a blizzard struck at Concordia, negotiations again followed. Eventually, 68 porters agreed to carry the remaining loads up. By May 25th, base camp was established at 17,400 feet on the South Gasherbrum Glacier. 10 days were spent acclimatizing and preparing. The long approach to Gasherbrum II remained the central problem. On June 4th, a route through the icefall was opened, and by June the 6th, a safe line to the mountain's foot was found. Snowfall delayed progress, but on June 11th, loads were carried to Camp Eforan at about 20,000 feet. in exhausting heat and deep snow. Bad weather followed. News arrived that Manaslu had been climbed, Lhotse ascended, and Everest climbed again, while the Austrian team remained stalled. On June 30th, the weather cleared, only for an avalanche to destroy Camp 1 and bury almost all equipment under 15 to 30 feet of snow. After 2 days of digging without success, the plan had to change. Camps would be established rapidly and lightly. On July 2nd, the route was reopened. Camp 2 was set on July 3rd, Camp 3 planned at 23,450 feet. On July the 6th, the porters could go no higher. Moravec chose to continue without them. Reinagel escorted the porters down, giving up his own chance of the summit. That evening, Moravec, Larch, and Willenpart bivouacked at 24,600 feet below the summit pyramid in bitter cold. On July 7th, after a sleepless night and minimal food, they climbed on. Step by step, exhausted and breathless, they fought their way upward. At 1:30 p.m., they reached the summit of Gasherbrum II, 26,360 feet high. After 10 minutes of recovery, they planted Austrian and Pakistani pennants and shook hands in silence. An hour later, they began their descent, reaching Camp 3 in a snowstorm and Camp 2 the next day. By July 11th, Moravec was back at base camp and sent news home, naming no individuals to emphasize teamwork. All camps were evacuated safely by July 14th. Soon after, Ratai and Roes set out to climb an unnamed 25,358-foot peak. Despite storms and exhaustion, they succeeded on July 19th, later naming it Austria Peak. The expedition ended with all members safe and with valuable geological and physiological research completed, adding lasting knowledge of the Karakoram alongside its mountaineering achievements.